Is this on? Hey. Oh my God. Check this out. It is Social Pulse Weekly. And I'm going to teach you the J-Watt today. What? Listen. All right, Mike, roll it. Boop. Boop, boop, boop.
It's Social Pulse Weekly, brought to you by Agorapulse. With this week's special guest, Stephanie Liu. Discussing this week's hottest topics and latest developments in social media marketing. With your host, Jennifer Watson. Here's Social Pulse Weekly.
Welcome to Social Pulse Weekly. You already know our guest today because she introduced the show, the amazing Stephanie Liu. I think Stephanie should probably introduce the show every week. Let us know say yes if you want that to happen. If you want Stephanie to introduce the show every week. I wish that you guys had joined us for the past 30 minutes because we've been talking with our awesome producer, Mike Alton, and Stephanie, all three of us. There's a funny GIF of me dancing, and we've been talking about all sorts of things. We have a lot of fun in the pre-show. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. It's Social Pulse Weekly, your all-in-one social media show where we have an expert interview every week, a little trivia, and we also go over some social media news as well. We have obviously an amazing guest here today. I do want to thank our show sponsor, Yvonne Hyman, for sponsoring the show. She's incredible and amazing, and you need to follow her. Ask Evie is her Twitter account. She's brilliant. She's a business efficiency consultant and speaker for digital entrepreneurs to scale your business with ease. Now, we do have a special offer today. So before I introduce Stephanie, we have an amazing, incredible thing that we don't actually do every week. This is actually the first time we've ever done it. So if you weren't able to watch Stephanie's amazing course on our summit back in December and November, you have another opportunity to do so. Now, she's offering her special course for 50% off if you type Stephanie Rocks in the comments. And once you do that, it'll unlock a special feature for you to get it for 100% off for free. So type in Stephanie Rocks in the comments and you'll get 50% off, but it'll unlock something even more special where you could get it for free. So do that right now. You don't want to miss out on her course. Now, Stephanie, obviously, if you don't know her, you definitely need to. She is amazing. She's incredible. She's the founder of Captivate on Command and the host of Lights Camera Live, where she helps brands succeed on camera. Now, she's a master Neuro Linguistic programming practitioner. I had to practice that a couple times. NLP for short. She's a trainer, an NLP trainer, and an ad agency veteran. Stephanie helps brands communicate with confidence so they can ignite their ideas and be brilliant for prospects and customers alike. She's one of the few board-certified NLP trainers in all of Southern California and is the co-author of the upcoming book, The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. Without further ado, let's bring back Stephanie Liu. Stephanie, thank you so much for being here, for introducing the show. You did it so amazing. Like, seriously, let's do this every week.
I did the J-Watt. You guys, hashtag J-Watt. I cannot wait to share that GIF of the amazing Jennifer Watson. It's going to be amazing.
So this video, we're not going to show it now. We're not going to show the GIF unless Mike, my boss, decides to. Who knows what Mike or Stephanie will do. But I guess you're just going to have to go to Social Media Marketing World to find out what happens. But everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We've got Don Stanley. We love you, Don. You're amazing. Rebecca Ward, Juan Santiago, Freddie Beckford, Ken Watson, Jen Cole, of course, the amazing show sponsor, Evie. Deb Mitchell is with us, Kelly Noble, Mirabella, Julie Riley. I mean, we've got the crew here, Mr. Scott Ayers, Katie Gentry Fox, which is awesome. Katie, thank you so much for joining us. We've got amazing people with us. So you guys, hopefully you'll trigger the bot, you'll share this out, and you'll get Stephanie's course for free. And to trigger the bot, you just have to type in the comments, Stephanie Rocks. So Stephanie, I actually sent Stephanie a lot of questions, and that wasn't even the full list of questions, guys, because I want to ask her so much. And remember, guys, this is a two-way conversation. So if you have questions you want to ask Stephanie, please ask them here and now, because you don't always get this opportunity, right? She's so amazing and she's so wonderful. So I'm going to kick it off with my questions, one of mine. Stephanie, can you break down what NLP training is, or what the mindset is, and basically why you started doing it?
Absolutely, of course. So NLP actually stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, and neuro is more about the neurology. Linguistic is more of how you're actually using your language, and then programming is how do you actually respond to situations unconsciously? Because there's certain behaviors that you do, like every morning you get up and you brush your teeth, and there's a certain way that you do that. And understanding how your mind works and how it's programmed, not only just like in your relationships, how you handle business, how you make sales call, is going to make a major impact in how your life is, really, right? And the best example that I could give in terms of like what NLP does and how it helps, it's, I like to travel a lot, and you do too. And it's the example, it would be if you're going into a different country and you sat down in a restaurant and you wanted steak, right? But when the waiter comes back and he gives you something completely different, like spaghetti, you're like, wait a second, that's not what I wanted. So something gets lost in translation. And when you understand how your mind works and how other people function, then it makes your life a whole lot easier. So as far as like, how did I get started in this? It was really, it's based on the fact that I used to work in an agency. And for those of you that are all marketers, you know how important it is to win the pitch. And so one of the important trainings that we had in the agency was learning NLP, because we wanted to learn how to increase our impact as well as our influence. And understanding how the mind works is one of the best ways to do that. So that's been something that's just been in my whole entire arsenal of soft skills. And it has made the biggest impact, not only in my personal, but also in my professional relationships.
So Stephanie, you described it perfectly. I feel like I really understand what it means. And this isn't something that's kind of new to you, because you actually have a degree in cognitive psychology. And I'm interested to learn more about that and how the two play together.
Oh, absolutely. So cognitive psychology, for those of you who don't know, it's about understanding the way that you think and the way that you learn. So everything from how you learn new skills, what's your memory, your attention, your perception, all of this stuff of how your mind works actually forms who you are, who you're going to be, what your personality is. It's like one of those things where you meet someone and you notice that they always say things in the negative, and you're like, well, why do they always say that? It's just, that's how they're functioned. And when you understand how people are, you kind of respect, okay, that's their world, that's their belief. So how do you play into that without being, I guess you could say, like triggered, right? So like it was like one of my good friends, I'll ask her like, so how was the event? She's like, not bad. I was like, okay, what does not bad mean? Like on a scale of like 0 is awesome, 0 is like not good, and 10 is like super awesome. Where does not bad fall on that scale? Because I don't know what that means. And so when you understand other people's definitions of the world, their beliefs, it makes it so much easier to have those conversations.
So I'm interested now, Stephanie, when you, using all your knowledge and everything that you've learned through your research and studying, when you look at how well a post does on a social media channel, or you're like, people aren't responding the way I want, like you basically kind of break down their comments to understand where they're coming from and what kind of content they want.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually a fun, I'll give you a real example.
Okay.
So when I was launching my course, Lights, Camera, Live signature program, I got an email from a prospective student, and she said, can you give me more information about the course? What's the schedule and blah, blah, blah. And I knew at that point that if I just responded back in an email saying like, oh, here's a PDF that outlines everything, that wasn't going to satisfy her. That wasn't going to win the sale. She was the type of person that was very, very detailed oriented. And the more detail that I could give her in my response, the better rapport that I would have with her. So just knowing that small fact got me the lead. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Some people will try to take the shortcuts in the conversations because that's how they're programmed. That's what they're used to doing. And when you get to really understand someone, it makes it so much easier. I'll give you another example because this one cracked me up. So I was staying at an Airbnb, and the guy that was my host, he was a car salesman at a dealership, right? A luxury dealership. And he started to ask me about like NLP, kind of like the same questions that you had. And he's like, okay, so can I use this in my personal relationships, like even when I'm dating? I was like, yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and understand what her communication style is, like what motivates her in a relationship. What are the values that she's looking for in a partner? So he's having this conversation and like, oh, she's loving it. She's like, oh my God, this guy is so cute. And then at one moment, she's like, what? I'm kind of starting to feel uncomfortable about something that you said. And then she started to back off. His default response, listen to this. His default response was, okay, sounds like there's a problem. Go ahead and give me a call and let's discuss it. I was like, what? You turned on business you. And that was his default programming because he had always done sales. And so I was like, okay, your communication style in sales, that works. But if you're going to do this in a personal relationship, you have to understand that you have to shift your communication style. Otherwise, you're not going to get the results that you want. You see, the meaning of communication is the response that you get. And so I was like, no wonder she like stopped texting you back because all of a sudden you turned into a robot. Like, what was that? And when I brought that into his conscious awareness, he was like, oh, yeah, that is kind of weird. I was like, yeah, dude, that's weird. You were totally vibing, you were grooving. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, dial 0 for customer service. I was like, you don't do that. You don't do that. So that was pretty interesting.
So you have this amazing knowledge, Stephanie. So let's say like people are overwhelmed, I think, a lot because it's the beginning of a new year and there's a lot of stuff going on. Even I feel overwhelmed. So how, like when you get overwhelmed from all of your training and everything, how do you transition it to something positive instead of paralyzing to you to actually get your things done, get everything done?
Yes. So there's this actual NLP technique called collapsing anchors. And basically what it does, it takes you from one negative emotional state into a positive state. So sometimes if I'm ever feeling overwhelmed, so if I'm feeling overwhelmed and I feel like I can't do anything, then what's the next emotional state that I have to be in to get me out of feeling overwhelmed? So all of a sudden I start to seek opportunities, and the emotion around that is excitement. And once I feel excited, I start to feel confident. And when I'm confident about what it is that I could do because I'm so badass at it, I start to feel powerful, right? So there's this whole like being able to take your mindset, your energy, your feeling, and take it from that negative state of feeling overwhelmed to starting to feel powerful. So that way you actually do it. So it's this whole thing where when you actually do NLP training, they kind of instill in you all of these different behaviors that helps you reach your goals a lot faster. Before, when I first started being an entrepreneur, there were all these like negative thoughts that I would tell myself, like, I'm not good enough, or I need more experience. No, I need to get more certifications in this and this and this before I could get started. And that was something that was holding me back in my business. And if this resonates with you guys, then let me know in the comments. Because there are certain things in life where you're just like, why am I not getting what it is that I want? And when you understand that there's a certain belief that's holding you back, how do you untangle it to get it? And then it just opens up a whole new world for you.
So, oh my gosh, everyone's so interested. Everyone's fascinated by everything that you're saying. Deb says, so interesting. So does Leah. Like, it's fascinating. Even Lisa says this is fascinating. I just kind of now want to talk to you for the rest of the day, Stephanie. I don't know what you have in an hour, but let's just keep the conversation going. Let's keep talking. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and let us know if you're joining us here. If you practiced NLP before, gotten that training, and also let us know where you're live from and how your week has been. And don't forget to unlock the special deal. Type Stephanie Rocks in the comments, and it's going to unlock 50% off her online course, but then it's going to give you another special opportunity to get it for free. So just type Stephanie Rocks in the comments. So Stephanie, let's say you're having a bad day. You're having a bad morning. Like you didn't wake up on time. You slept through your alarm. Things aren't going your way. How do you just pivot from like, gosh, this is a crappy day to like, you know what, let's make this the best day ever. How do you do that in your mind?
Yes. And this actually ties back to And Phil Trisha's question, who said, like, do you have a default mantra that you call upon when you start to feel overwhelmed? There's this belief that I have that your attitude determines your altitude in life. And so I was telling the 360 crew yesterday that, man, I just wasn't feeling right. I felt like I was off my game because my 4-year-old was up all night, coughing, sneezing, all that stuff. So I didn't get the best rest. And then in the morning, we ran out of coffee. And I was like, wow, this is just like a terrible start to a day. If you guys resonate with this, let me know. And I sat there and I was like, man, I don't want my day to be like this. And when I switched my mindset to say, this is not what I want, this is what I do want, let's go ahead and hit the reset button, then I restarted my day. So that's kind of like one of the things that I do is that I take charge of my mindset. I know what motivates me, I know what aggravates me, and I protect that energy.
See, like Stephanie, I feel like everyone here is basically like, where do I do NLP training? So first of all, where did you get certified, Stephanie? And if someone's interested in getting training themselves, like, can we hire you, Stephanie? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got trained by Tad James, who was one of the students of the early creators of Neuro-Linguistic programming. So his name is Tad James, and they're actually based in Henderson. And for those of you that have ever followed me on social media, you have seen me spend hours, weeks in Henderson, Nevada, getting trained for this. Like, just to become an NLP practitioner, you need about 120 hours of training. And so this is something that I do teach agencies as well as sales teams on how to leverage NLP. So there are times where I'll say, like, if you're doing even customer service, how do you take a situation and you diffuse that? That way you could actually get to the goal of what the customer actually wants. Because some people, they just kind of want to unload on you. But how do you not let that negative energy impact you in the rest of your day? So that way you could still do your job.
So how do you, Stephanie, do you have any rituals in the morning? We have had a recent guest on talking about her book, Good Morning, Good Life, the amazing Amy Landino. And we were talking about morning rituals, evening rituals. Do you have rituals that you do in the morning and evening that help set you up for success for that day and the next day and the upcoming week?
Yes. So there's one ritual that I do, and I do this with my daughter, and we do it every single night. And it's because I know that my daughter, throughout her entire day, even your entire day, you are getting suggestions from marketing, suggestions from the radio, suggestions from the music that you're listening to, suggestions from just commercials, right? And those suggestions that you come across, your unconscious mind is listening to it. And for me, as well as, raising a daughter, I want to make sure that the suggestions that she's getting in her life are all positive. So the thing that we do every single night, and it's super cute, Jen, you got to do this, is we say, dear unconscious mind, you know the suggestions that are good for me and those that are bad. Keep the ones that are good and erase the ones that are bad. And because I want her mind to process, I want her mind to know which values are good and which ones are bad, and then just to restart her day. So that way, when she wakes up in the morning, she remembers, mommy loves me, daddy loves me, my family loves me no matter what.
Oh my God, that's happening. You guys, we're going to try to have you guys meet my daughter actually at the end of this show, because I'm not in my normal place right now. I've been watching my 2 nieces and my daughter the past week, but my sister just got home last night, so she's taking care of my daughter right now. So you guys may be able to meet her, but that is awesome. I love that. I feel like, it's so easy to get deterred from a positive mindset and just feel overwhelmed. And if you just practice a few simple, things, teachings, it can change your whole outlook on your life. Actually, it can change your life into such a positive one. Yes. And I want to know what rituals you guys have. We've got George DeManis in the house. Hey, George. And keep in mind that Stephanie's course actually goes for $200, and you have the opportunity to get it for free by typing in Stephanie Rocks in the comments. So do that now. Now, Stephanie, so you're brilliant on stage. You have an amazing live show. How do you use your research and trainings to make your live show and your presence on stage better? Is there anything that you always do before you get on stage?
Oh, absolutely. And Mike knows this. Mike knows that I get on stage and I will stomp on the stage. Anyone who has ever gone to like any of my sessions early knows that I go on the stage and I stomp on it, because that's me creating an anchor onto that stage saying, I own this. I own this. The stage doesn't scare me. I own this stage. So for anyone that has ever seen me, like I see George in there, but I will go up there and I will stomp on the stage. So that's like the first thing that I do, is that I am owning that stage. I'm not afraid of it at all. I'm creating an anchor. So as anytime I step on that stage, it's mine, right? Whatever happened on that stage before, if there was another presenter before me that totally bombed, whatever, I'm clearing the air. It's kind of like you're clearing the space and you're putting your own energy on that. Things that I do on stage that most people probably don't realize unless they are NLP trained is that I use a lot of storytelling to put my audience in a trance-like state.
Oh, wow.
And your brain's gonna kind of like pause on that for a second. If you think about what it means to be in trance, like when you're in the car, this is why radio commercials still exist. When you're in the car, you're focusing on the road, and sometimes you don't actually know how you got there because your body movements are running on automatic. You're in a trance. So any of the commercials that are happening are going to go ahead and go into your unconscious mind. When I'm on stage and I tell a story, there are little bits of embedded commands that I plug into there when my audience is actually in trance. You know when your audience is actually in trance because they will not move. This is a very interesting thing that you learn as an NLP trainer, because some people, when they're presenting on stage, you'll see audience members like looking at their phone because they're not really engaged. But when you learn the storytelling techniques of how to put an audience actually in trance, they won't move. Their eyes are dead on you. And it's the craziest thing because you could see them fall deeper and deeper into a trance-like state. So that's one of the things that I do a lot on stage is I do hypnosis. I'm a trained hypnotherapist. And if you ever watch any of my courses, any of the replays, it's all in there. And if you're a trained NLP practitioner, you'll find it. Other things, did you want to add? Did you want to say
No.
something?
You keep going, Stephanie. Keep going. This is amazing. I'm not going to say I'm spending a whole day with you at Social Media Marketing World, but keep going.
Yes. Okay. So what we just talked about in terms of how to get from an emotional state of overwhelm to feeling powerful, right? That whole process is called collapsing anchors. It's an NLP technique. You can do that same thing when you're doing presentations, right? When you're doing a presentation and you want to get your audience motivated, what are the 4 steps for that? What are the 4 stories that you have to tell in order to get them from frustrated to confident to powerful, like now I'm going to do it, right? Those are the 4 emotional states that I usually try to trigger whenever I do a presentation, because the audience wants to be in tune with you. So those are the, and I'm trying not to, I'm trying not to look at the comments to get distracted, but this is all like, this is everything that I put into a presentation. So I do the whole, how do I get them from feeling one emotional state to another, right? The other thing that I do is that when I'm on stage, I have anchors on the stage. So if I want my audience to feel frustrated, there's a certain part of the stage that I'm working that I'm like, oh, remember that time? Isn't that frustrating? Don't you want to go ahead and start to feel more confident? I'm even doing it right now on camera. I've actually put certain, you know what I'm talking about? Like I'm putting my anchors where they are. So if ever I want to tell you something positive, it's always going to be on this side because I'm super excited. Anything that's bad is always going to be on this side. Does that make sense? You're using the stage as an anchor, and you're using that strategically. And that's one of the reasons why whenever I go on stage, and Kelly Noble Marabella, she was actually the person that worked the room last year when I was at Social Media Marketing World. She could tell you I got up on stage and I stomped on the stage to clear out the energy because I was going to put new anchors in there. Does that make sense?
Stephanie, you're awesome. So I think everyone here, I'm going to be rewatching this and taking notes. So, and I love it all. So when you, like a lot of people, you know, they will go into, and I like doing this. I like going into the room where I'm speaking before I do that, even when no one's there, and kind of like making my body as big as possible, like owning the room sort of. Yeah. Is that similar? Like, or kind of?
It's the flow of energy, right? So it's kind of like, some people, when I see them on stage, they'll go on stage and they'll just be this big ball of energy and they're just blowing it out the whole entire time.
Yeah.
If you want to get your audience into a trance-like state, there's a flow. There's a dance to it. There's certain things that you're going to go ahead and do to pull them in, and then you're going to get them excited again. You think of it kind of like a movie, right? When you're watching a movie, it's not like an EDM concert. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like even in EDM songs, they lead to the buildup,
Yeah.
right? So when you're presenting on stage, you go in with the wow, cool, and then you keep them in, and then you drop it, and they're like, oh shit, what just happened? And then you bring them back to the next thing. And someone actually just mentioned one of the best things that you could do before a presentation is to future pace yourself. Yes, you could actually future pace yourself, but you can also future pace your audience. So you could say something like, so you guys, you've spent the last 25 minutes learning just a little bit about NLP. Now, just imagine what you could do once you actually get trained. Think of all the opportunities, all the doors that are going to open for you.
Stephanie, this is like, you have, I think, everyone on the edge of their seats right now. I really think you do. And Kelly wants to hire you. And also, do you teach this in your course? She's wondering.
So the one that you guys are getting access to right now is learning about representational systems. So knowing how to use the right words when you're on a discovery call, or even if you're talking to your partner, right? Because that's going to make the biggest difference. The way that we speak is different. Even though my husband and I both speak English, the way that he processes information is very different. The way that he makes decisions is very different. Like just recently we bought a new car, and this came out of nowhere. I was like sitting down here, and he's like, what are you doing today? I was like, I gotta write this, I gotta do that, blah, blah, blah. I was like, why, what's up? He's like, oh, I just want to look at cars. I was like, hold up. I know my husband's decision-making strategy. My husband's decision-making strategy whenever he's making a purchase is this. He's gonna look at something. So he's gonna look online. And then he wants to know what other people are saying. So he wants to hear what other people have to say. And then the next step in his decision buying process is kinesthetic. He wants to feel it. He wants to touch it. And that's where we were in his decision-making strategy. He now wants to go and check out the car. So I was like, I want a new car. So cool. Yeah, let's do this. Whatever I had on my schedule, boop, gone.
Oh my God, Stephanie, like this is, I don't know, I'm so going to do NLP training now. I think everyone is going to be more intrigued about NLP training and want to hire you for that. And when you've talked to your clients, what is the number one thing that you've taught them that has improved their strategy and their business and everything?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. When it comes to NLP and for what I do, because I do marketing, you guys know this. I just had a call today with one of my clients who wanted to do a live stream, and she was thinking small because she wanted to be in this safe box. And I wanted her to do something amazing. I was like, you know what? You could stay and be mediocre, or you could be magnificent. What is it that you want to do? And so once I understood about like her beliefs of what she was worried about, I was able to untangle that and get us to where we wanted to be. So when you know like what's holding back your clients, it's a matter of understanding, okay, like, is this a decision that's based off of data? Is this a decision based off of external factors? Or is there something that happened before? Maybe you got burned before because it didn't work out the way that you wanted to. Is that what's holding you back? And if it's holding you back, is it also impacting the other decisions that you're making in your business? Because how many people do you know base their decisions off of fear over confidence? And I'm always going to make my clients feel more confident in making their decisions and getting what it is exactly that they want.
So Stephanie, gosh, I feel like no, it's amazing. This is wonderful. And I really am so more interested in NLP than I ever have before, because I've just been recently introduced with it. So if you guys have questions for Stephanie about NLP, please ask them. And you're going to get a taste from her course of this that's for free. If you just type Stephanie Rocks, because Stephanie does rock. type Stephanie Rocks in the comments and you'll unlock 50% off our course and actually the special opportunity to get it for free. And I highly recommend it because all of this is truly amazing and can change your business, your entire outlook on your life. Now, Stephanie, you have a very successful live show, and I want to kind of transition to what do you do before, during, and after your show to make it successful, to make it engaging, and to get the reach that you want?
Okay. So I'm going to tie this back to NLP, right?
Yes, do it.
So before I do any show, I get into the right emotional state. I want to be confident. I want to be powerful. That's who I want to be. I want to be engaging. And so I've created an anchor in myself where if I play a certain song and the beat drops, boom, it is on. Like game over. I own this camera. Like nothing is going to go ahead and phase that at all, right? So that's like one mind trick that I do is like, how do I get myself in state? So, and it's funny because I'll even tell you that just having lights around me has now become an anchor. So that what that means is whenever I'm in a room and there's bright lights, all of a sudden I get really energetic just because it's tied to an emotional state, right? Other things like even if I'm on stage, again, if you guys ever come to any of my sessions like Social Media Marketing World or Midwest Digital Marketing Conference, you might see me do something where I'll have like my my forearm right here and I'll hit it. And the reason why I do that is because I've anchored the most powerful, confident Stephanie that I have ever been in this area. And when I hit it, I activate it. Does that make sense? So if you've ever seen me before stage, I do that. I activate it because all of the memories, all of the situations in my life where I felt confident, strong, powerful, fierce, it's all here. And if there's any time in my life where I feel like overwhelmed, anxious, or whatever, it's like, screw it, it's game time. It's on, right? So that's what I do from an NLP perspective to get me on show. As far as like how Lights, Camera, Live goes, I always have a guest. And it's always good for me to know if a guest is comfortable on camera, right? And if they're not comfortable on camera, let's say they're a little shy, I have to bring out that confidence in them because my show is very high energy. And so if my guest comes on and they're just like, oh, hi, it's not going to flow. So I have to use my NLP strategies to get them into the right state.
Gosh, like Stephanie, so I'm reading the comments right now. Christine Gritman is just like, whoa, I think everyone's like that. This is all incredible stuff. The way you've trained yourself with these superpower triggers is amazing. And then Kelly Noble Mirabella is wondering how long it takes to become a certified NLP practitioner. And I think you said you have to study at least 120 hours.
120 hours to get NLP certified. And it's great to do it in person, Kelly, because then you actually get to practice it in a safe environment, right? It's kind of like live streaming where sometimes when you're live streaming for the very first time, it feels like you're walking on a tightrope. You're like, okay, I have to balance the show and all this stuff. When you do it in an actual real live setting with other people that are learning with you, you can practice it and it can make it feel a little bit more natural. So 120 hours is usually about 7 days. It's a week long. The training that I did, it wasn't just NLP. I figured if I'm going to get certified in this, I'm also going to get certified in hypnosis, NLP coaching, and hypnotherapy, right? So I got 4 certifications all in one. And that's something that I offer too.
So people like, we can hire you, Stephanie, to train us in all that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So how much does that cost? Where do we go?
Message me. So it's one of those things where like, I want to do it in 7 days straight because to have someone completely just be immersed in it, to think about it, to clear out all the negative beliefs that they have, break all of those barriers down to get them to where they want to be. It's nice to have like a full 7 solid days for it. Some other people, they'll teach it like, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, but it's kind of hard because you get back into work again and you're not thinking about it constantly.
So, and it's funny watching people's comments. So, Sean said, I was certified by Richard Bandler in 1991 is the foundation to everything I've accomplished in business.
Yes.
And And Don Stanley says, this reminds me of how I used triggers, anchors when I played sports. I need to do this in other areas. So simple and so powerful. And I feel like a lot of us already are doing some of these things, but maybe not allowing it to really fully flourish
Yeah.
and
It's
be the best.
something that you know
Yeah.
unconsciously. But when you
Yeah.
bring it to your conscious awareness and you know how to do it, when you know how to anchor yourself and you know how to anchor clients in the sales process, it makes sealing the deal easy and effortless.
Yeah. No, it's so incredible. Now, Scott Ayers said a lot earlier, he said he doesn't think he could ever be hypnotized. So the goal will be at Social Media Marketing World to hypnotize Scott. That's going to be a goal. That's going to be a challenge. Scott, we're going to do it. So we have about like 10 minutes left in the interview portion, guys, and then we're going to start some fun news. So if you have a question for Stephanie, ask it now. And if you want to learn more, type Stephanie Rocks in the comments to get her course for free. Her course is usually $200. Get it for free. And then there's more ways you can learn more about NLP and marketing and learn everything you could ever imagine from Stephanie. So Stephanie, it's amazing your workflow, everything that you do. What are the top 3 apps that you use to make you more productive and to just get things done?
Okay. So first of all, you know that I love Agorapulse. And as a live streamer, just like today's show, the comments are popping up rapidly. And then even after the show, you'll have the replay and the comments will appear there too. So having Agorapulse on my phone makes it so much easier because I do want to engage with my audience, right? If my audience knows that I'm going to instantly comment back to them, I'm now triggering all of the happy brain chemicals, the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, the endorphins. So having Agorapulse on my phone allows me to create that rapport deeper with my audience. So that's one of my favorite apps. The second one is Messenger. And I love Messenger because I love talking to other people. And I like the voice functionality of it because, again, as a trained hypnotherapist, it's really easy for me to talk to people and to get to what it is, what the root problem is, and how to help them out. So Messenger is very helpful there. The other one that I love is the Shortcuts app, right? Because I'm usually running from one event to the other. And so to have Shortcuts that tells my husband, hey, I'm on the way home. Do you want something for dinner? Or, hey, can I get directions to the next event? Just like a push of a button. It's brilliant to me. Like anything that I could do to streamline my workflow process or just my life in general, amazing.
So you are also, Stephanie, kind of this gadget tech guru. Basically anything that you promote or recommend on your social channels is something truly awesome and what everybody goes out and buys. What are the top 3 gadgets or tech gear that you have that you kind of can't live without and that your favorite?
This is a complete game changer, you guys. So like the camera that I'm using right now to live stream with you is the GH5 and it's amazing. But the thing about it is that it's bulky. It's like super heavy. It's like super heavy for me to like hold. So instead I have this. This is my DJI Osmo Pocket and it shoots in 4K as well as 1080p. It's a camera and a gimbal all in one, right? I think I've sold this to so many friends now, not intentionally, but just because they've seen my content. But it's cool in the sense that like it can follow me. I could use this for vlogging, 1, 2, 3, and it goes around, right? Usually if you get this, it doesn't have the controller wheel. So I'm going to say that's like my second gadget. I love this controller wheel because if you've ever used like a stabilizer, right? The DJI ones, I could use it to go ahead and move the camera around the way that I want it to be, right? So that's cool.
Awesome.
That's like one of my favorite things there. The other one I would say too is like this, this cover, because then it protects the actual camera when I bring it around me. This is the only gadget that I bring with me now whenever I'm filming for clients on set. It's the easiest thing to bring. And it's like, this is my phone. This is my phone. This is the Osmo Pocket. Okay. This is everything. And anytime I go to an event, this is what I use. People will stop and ask, what is it? Any of the videos that you usually see me recapping, even like my trip to Tokyo, to Taiwan, I use this. Even when I was in a wheelchair, right? When I was in a wheelchair, I had it on a tripod and I wrapped it around my wheelchair and I used my wheelchair as basically a gimbal, pretty much, right? I kind of used it like for me to go ahead and move around the different areas. But this I absolutely love as far as content creation goes And it's easy, like if I want other people to capture behind the scenes stuff, because it's so easy to use. Questions
I love
about
it.
it?
Yes, yes, questions. I just want that. Now, what other gear that do you use to help you go live in your live show? Like when it comes to lighting or anything else, what are the top things that like, I need this to go live?
Yes. So for those of you who want like this type of video quality, I would definitely recommend trying to go for a DSLR camera or even like the Brio 4K. That's a webcam. I absolutely love it. It just gives me a different look that really stands out from the newsfeed from anyone else. And it's one of those things where people are like, how did she do that? And that's all you need really to like pique someone's curiosity, because you want them to stop in the newsfeed and look and listen to what it is that you have to say. So that's like the first thing. The second one is that I use Ecamm Live for live streaming. Complete game changer for me, because I could customize it and brand it the way that I want to. So if I wanted to do like pattern interrupts, I could put like a funny video or a GIF or whatever. I could go ahead and drag that piece of content into Ecamm, and then it works seamlessly. The third piece of equipment that I cannot live without would have to be my Stream Deck, which is this. And when I have this set up, it's set up to the different scenes that I have in my live stream. So if I want it to go intro, I'll click on a button, it shoots my intro, and then I'll go to the different scene. If I want it to play a trailer, a testimonial, all of that good stuff, I could do that here. I also even have like a button program, so that way when I'm live, I push a button and it'll automatically send out a tweet that says, hey, Stephanie is live, go ahead and click here to go and watch the live broadcast. So this is like game changer for me.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love all those things. And I want the Osmo Pocket. That's been on my list. I should have bought it for myself for Christmas. I should have just done that.
Valentine's Day.
I know, there's Valentine's Day to myself. That might happen, and that's okay. You should treat yourself, guys. Self-care, number one, treat yourself. You're amazing. So Stephanie, you are pretty awesome on TikTok. I'm just going to say that. You got some epic dance moves. I don't know if you guys saw some of the promotions for this show, but Stephanie's got it. So Stephanie, for people that are starting off on TikTok, maybe they have an account, they haven't actually created a video yet. What are the top 3 tips that you've seen and learned just through observing and utilizing TikTok yourself?
Well, I like to observe Scott Ayers a lot, because he's got some pretty funny TikToks on there too. I mean,
Very true.
you know, if anything on TikTok, I use it more just to be silly. It's my creative outlet, and I naturally love to dance, and I love the fact that there's a lot of dance challenges in there. So the challenge that I have for myself is to learn a new dance every single week. And that pretty much lives on TikTok and maybe Instagram stories. So my advice to you is really, don't take yourself seriously. It's very different from any other social media platform that I see out there, where you need to have like the perfect lighting and the perfect audio and all that stuff. No, it's about having fun. And the more grainier it is and the more like funnier it is, it's the better, right? So just have fun with it. You are welcome to use hashtags. And I think if you really want to enjoy the experience of even just watching on TikTok, engage with people. Follow, like, I usually like to watch the videos, and if it was really funny, I'll click on the song, and the song will take me to other videos that are related to that particular track. And then I just go down like this rabbit hole of like, okay, that was hilarious.
Stephanie, I feel like we need to hang out more, because I love dancing. I love a good beat. And I had a dance party with my daughter last night. And so I feel like this needs to happen. We're totally making that happen at Social Media Marketing World. So lastly, this is our last question before we get to some news. So Stephanie, what are the top 3 things that you're going to concentrate on marketing wise this year in 2020? The top 3, maybe social channels, or what are you really focusing on to grow your business?
Yeah, so this year it's going to be more of the NLP training, right? I've done the live streaming stuff, I've done the social media retainers, and because I love NLP so much, things that I'm working on include, self audio hypnosis for my entrepreneurs on how to get what it is that they want in their life, NLP training and certification. So not only just in NLP, but coaching, hypnosis, all of that good stuff. So actually doing live events, which I'm really excited to do. And then as far as like other marketing related stuff, just more lights, camera, live. I've hired this amazing VA who's been able to take my live videos, transcribe it into an epic blog post, which I then repurpose into like 26 other pieces of content. So I feel like this is the year where you're going to see more of Stephanie. You're going to hear more about NLP. And it's going to be one of those things where you're like, what is she doing? And I want to be a part of that.
Stephanie, I think everyone is so intrigued now about NLP. I bet everyone who's watching is like researching, like, where can I get trained here where I am, or I want to hire you, Stephanie. You're going to get a lot more business, but I think it's fascinating, and it's something that, like, you're helping people live a better life and a more successful life, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's so great. So Stephanie, thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're so wonderful. And I want to keep you on because we're going to talk about just 3 pieces of news, and then we're going to get to some fun trivia. So you guys stay with us. And again, if you love Stephanie, type Stephanie Rocks in the comments and you'll get a chance to get her course for free. So keep that in mind. It's worth $200. So the first piece of news we're going to talk about, Stephanie, is the fact that Instagram is starting to bring DMs to the web, which is kind of cool. Now, again, this is just a small percentage of the global users will get access to this. And they're still talking about this as a test. But I think hopefully that the test will be successful and it'll be accessible to everyone, because I feel like just, being on your phone. Yes, I have my phone with me all the time, but having access to it on a desktop, because I'm on my desktop all the time with work, is going to make it so much easier to manage the DMs and comment and everything. And if you're hoping that this becomes, for everyone, access to everyone, just type yes. Say you're excited in the comments, because I'm pumped. I don't know about you, Stephanie, but I think this is going to be, just make people's lives easier. And I think there's going to actually be a lot more private conversations this way too, especially during the work hours, because, people talk during work hours. So I think it's just going to be all around a positive thing. And hopefully you guys think so as well. I'm kind of really pumped for it. So we'll see. I'm interested to see what the next update is from Instagram, to see what, if they're going to make it available to everyone in the US.
And the best way to know if they are going to make it available is, you guys, you're all social media marketers, you know this. There's the Facebook F8 conference. And if you go there, then you'll be like one of the first few to actually know what's going to be rolled out. Not only that, but it's one of the easiest ways to go ahead and actually meet the product leads. Because that was one of the things that was my goal last year when I went to Facebook F8. Like, I wanted to go up to the actual product lead for live streaming. I'm like, okay, so tell me about this Facebook Live producer. When is it coming out? And like asking all the questions. That's one of the best ways to get out there.
So Stephanie, are you going to F8 this year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
With this, of course.
Yes. Mike, my boss, I feel like, who's the amazing producer, Mike Alton, behind this. Let's make that happen it's April, right? Is it April?
Last year, I think it was in March. So it might be, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll figure
that out.
Comment. Kelly's on the wait list. I don't remember what year or what month it is, but it's definitely on the list of conferences that I want to go.
So Stephanie, once you go once, are you automatically able to go again because Kelly's on the wait list? How does it work for F8?
I think everyone's pretty much on the wait list. And then when registration opens, then you get to go. One of the fastest ways to kind of get approved for it is if you actually have an app ID. So just plugging in the app ID in there and then telling them what specifically that you want to know. And it would make sense for someone like Kelly to go to learn about like the bot side of things, because they tell you how the workflows are going to be. I would love if like Jen Herman went, because she could actually meet like the Instagram team, right? It's awesome. It's fun.
And so F8 is May 5th through 6th this year. So yeah, and I remember I started at Agorapulse, and it was like that Tuesday. It was like the very end of April, I think, last year when it launched. It was like April 30th, I think. So yeah, so it's actually on my birthday this year, which is awesome. So maybe I will go to it just for a little fun celebration. So that's a great tip, Stephanie. And now moving along to, let's see, what's our next news topic? Oh, interesting that Facebook is backing off on a plan to bring ads to WhatsApp. I think this is intriguing, but also kind of part of their whole revamp. I mean, I understand it would be a huge revenue source to put ads in WhatsApp, but they've recently come back and said they're rethinking that approach as having WhatsApp as a revenue generating tool, which I think maybe will help people have a little bit more trust. I think this year or last year was kind of difficult for Facebook in general. And
Yeah.
so I think this may bring more faith into it, and that it's just not trying to get your money, but actually trying to cultivate those meaningful relationships it keeps talking about. And I'm sure there's other things in the works to actually generate revenue, but
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting kind of bit of news that they're not doing that, because I mean, there are 1.5 billion users. I mean, they could make a lot of money, but they're deciding not to.
I
So,
mean, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense because if you think about the advertising now and how they have to have fact checkers and all of that stuff, like it takes a lot of people to actually do that. And as you just mentioned, there's a lot of people that are using WhatsApp. And so to now build out another team to monitor all of that stuff, that's going to take a while.
yeah, yeah. So I think exactly what you said and just kind of everything else. I mean, it makes sense. And I'm interested to see, though, how that kind of moves forward this year and if they change their mind and obviously what their new strategy is going to be and all of that. So it's very interesting. And last but not least, your most fun dancing social media channel, TikTok, is reportedly testing new search page with topics like comedy, animals, and more. And as a pretty avid TikTok user, how, awesome do you think this is going to be, or people are going to be really utilizing this? Like, tell us how big of an impact it's going to be, Stephanie, for users of TikTok.
I mean, I feel like now everyone needs to go to the animal shelter and get a pet if they don't already have one.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think it would be a ton of fun. Again, I'm usually on TikTok just to watch the dance challenges. It's kind of like my Zumba in the morning.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
So I think that's fun. I think it's exploring other people's interests, and the
Mhm.
more that you cater to a person's interests, the more that you're going to build rapport with them. So from a psychology standpoint, that makes a lot of sense. You're seeing what's working on other platforms, and you're saying, okay, well, let's go ahead and bring this over to ours and see how it pans out.
And yeah, they must have talked with an NLP trainer like you, Stephanie, or something to get this recommendation. You should talk with all the social channels, Stephanie. But yeah, so this is going to have a search bar on the top and a list of topics underneath, which categories content in different sections like comedy, dance, animals, gaming, and others. And so the new page will look neater with a row-wise vertical division for each category. And scrolling through the article, you see Matt Navarra, who, if you're not following him on Twitter, you should. I mean, he has a plethora of information too. Took a screenshot of what it looks like. So I think for those, really avid TikTok users, I like how they're honing in on people's hobbies and getting more personal. It's just like what you said, Stephanie, just a way to, once you think things are more personal, you're more likely to utilize it more. And just on this funny note, Stephanie, while we're talking about NLP, I know this sounds so silly, but I used to work at the Weather Channel because I'm technically a meteorologist by trade. And even though I worked there, I would watch it at home sometimes, just monitoring different things. And even when they said my hometown of like where I grew up, I still would get excited. And it's amazing how like personalizing something and making people feel like, wow, we're really a part of the experience can just bring out this positive energy
Oh yeah.
in you,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. I mean,
it,
it's one of the smartest things that you could do if you find the common denominator between you and someone else. Like, let's bring this back to like business, right? When you find the
yeah.
common denominator between you and someone else, like if someone said to me like, "Oh, I love San Diego. I love going to Balboa Park." That gives me so much pride. You've now just created an anchor in me just by saying San Diego because I'm like, "Oh, cool. Like you know my hometown. Like represent, right?" So
Yeah.
another cool way that you could go ahead and use that.
Oh yeah, and I don't know, it's something silly, but I'm just like, "Oh my God, that's awesome," And it's just, I don't know, I think it's really funny. All right, guys, so now we're getting to trivia, and this is the fun part of the show where you could win an Agorapulse mug or a t-shirt, whichever you want, but you have to get both of these trivia questions correct to be in the running for it. And we've got some pretty intriguing questions. Now, Promo ran a study and interviewed 500 people about their video viewing habits. And we've had some really great questions over the past several episodes of Social Pulse Weekly, and we've got two more awesome ones. And so when you answer these questions, though, remember answer 1-A, B, or C, whatever your answer is, and then 2 dash A, B, or C, so we know what question you are answering. Now, the first question is, guys, according to Promo's study, when asked how often they remembered a company's name after watching their video, what percentage actually said very often that they remember the company's name of a video they watched? Is it A, 24%, B, 36%, C, 42%, or D, 58%? Now, don't go Googling this article and finding the answer, but what percentage of people actually or were most likely to remember the company's name of a video that they watched? And this kind of hones into the fact of, when you're producing videos and stuff like that, are there different ways that you can be showing your company's name so people actually remember that it's your company and you're like, wow, that funny video. Oh yeah, that was Agorapulse, or that was Stephanie Liu, something like that. Good job. Great answers, guys. Wow. A lot of people have answered correctly, which is really good. Good job, guys. Keep it coming. And I'm kind of looking back through the comments too. And Stephanie, you don't have to answer, but you can maybe give your guess, kind of, sort of. If you're feeling like, we're not going to put the answers though during the show in case people watch it for the replay, but you can kind of say what you're thinking the answer is.
B?
No, but close, super close, Stephanie. And that's going to give everyone else a little tip. So yeah, so let's move to question number 2, guys. According to Promo's study, when asked how often they visited a company's website after watching the video, what percentage said very often? Was it A, 13%, B, 22%, C, 47%, or D, 52%? So after watching a video, what percentage of people most often or very often would visit a company's website afterward? Is it A, 13%, B, 22%, C, 47%, or D, 52%? I'm interested on your take. I know the answers to this, Stephanie. What are you thinking? Like, what's your vibe on this? Because, it takes a lot to be like, wow, this video was so awesome and epic. Let me go to their website.
Yeah, I would say D. Because if it's Promo that's doing a study and Promo actually does create video, I think they would probably want the highest number. So I would say D.
No, that's a good guess. That's a very good guess. And you guys, for everyone else that are answering, thank you guys for answering. We do have some correct answers out there. So well done. And a special shout out to Anna too. Anna joins us basically every week as well. We've got some very loyal viewers. So you guys are fabulous and amazing. And before we let you go, Stephanie, and end the show, how do we help us get into a good mindset for the weekend, Stephanie, as we're wrapping up our final projects of the week? And is there anything you can, some kind of hypnosis you can give us seconds to be like, you guys are going to have like the most amazing weekend in the year?
That's so funny. How about this?
Okay.
To help you guys out, if you ever wanted to be like, what state do you want to be in? Like what?
I want to be in like well, I always have a lot of energy in I can do this, a positive mindset that, let's say you have to run some errands this weekend, it's going to be a positive experience, not a draining experience.
So you have something to do. Do you just want to be positive, or do you want to be a person of action? Like you want to be motivated to do it?
I want to be motivated to do it, Stephanie.
Cool. So the best way to do that is to start thinking about all of the situations in your life where you felt really, really motivated. What did you see? Who was there? Was there a person that was cheering you on that got you motivated? Was it something that you wore? Is it the way that you wore your makeup? Was it a certain color that you're wearing? What did you see, hear, feel? And what did you say to yourself to make you feel motivated? Once you're actually in that emotional state, once you feel like the peak of it, go ahead and create an anchor. So for me, like I told you guys, all of the confidence stuff that I had ever in my life, I anchored it right here. So if you ever want to feel motivated, pick a part of your body. Some people will sometimes choose like their ear, right? They'll just like tug on it when they start to feel like, yeah, I'm starting to feel really motivated to go to the gym, Evie Hyman, right? You can go ahead and put that there. Or you could go ahead and choose a knuckle, right? But what you want to do is you want to create an anchor. So that way, whenever you're feeling like unmotivated, you want to create that sensation of like, okay, I want to get this done. You're like, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do this.
So Stephanie, when you're thinking of those memories when you were feeling extra motivated, are you focusing that energy on that one like body part, like your wrist, how you do it kind of? Or how do you make like, let's say tugging on your ear in anchor? How do you do that?
So so I'm gonna bring this back to confidence because I feel like that's a very strong energy that I could do. As soon as I feel like, wow, like I am the ish, like I am I am the bee's knees, like that's where I go ahead and hit that anchor on there. And that's when I trigger it. And I will stack that anchor. I will stack that anchor with another memory of like when I killed it on stage, with another memory of when I won like the biggest deal ever, right? And another memory of like when I landed another speaking engagement. And I keep stacking that. That way it becomes like a very, very strong anchor for me. And that's what I do. So you could just keeping all the memories that you have, creating that experience, and then creating that anchor.
Stephanie, I think we're all going to be so motivated this weekend. Kelly needs to get motivated to go to the gym. We can do that for you next time, Kelly, because Kelly is freaking awesome and amazing and set up the whole messenger bot, what we've got, the experience we have for today. And don't forget that if you guys haven't already, type in Stephanie Rocks, because she's awesome, but Stephanie Rocks in the comments, and that's going to give you the opportunity to get her course for free, which is incredible and amazing. So do that now. It's wonderful. And if you need help setting up something like this, you need to follow the amazing, incredible Kelly Noble Mirabella. She has everything you need. You can hire her personally to be her client, but seriously, she is wonderful. And Stephanie, you're amazing. Like, I'm just going to say that right now. You are just such a positive energy, like just to end the work week and begin the weekend. And seriously, like, thank you for kicking off our show. Awesome. Doing fun TikTok videos and just being an overall incredible human being.
Well,
there needs to be more of you in this world.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, you guys. This was a ton of fun. I really, really appreciate it. This was fun to talk about something other than live streaming because not that many other people know about our superpowers, right? So it's kind of cool to share all that. And I'm so curious to go back through the comments, especially when we were talking about like the stage presence and how to work this stage. Because all I saw in the corner of my eye, like my peripheral, was like comments like, what?
Yes,
So it'll be cool to see all those comments.
You're going to see a lot of people doing different things, getting themselves set up to go on stage. I have a feeling we're going to see, like, I don't know, there are amazing speakers anyway, but you're going to be like, oh my gosh, everyone was just better than they've ever been. Probably because they, implemented Stephanie's teachings. That's exactly what it's going to be. So Stephanie, where can people reach you? How can they reach you, hire you, NLP training, everything? Because everyone wants to know. How do they do that?
The best way is go ahead and head over to my Facebook page and just shoot me a message. As I said, Messenger is one of my favorite apps. So just go in there, shoot me a message, tell me what you're interested in, and then we'll work things out.
Awesome. Stephanie, seriously, I'm literally going to be messaging you after this because I'm so intrigued. Thank you so much for being on the show. You are an incredible guest, and I think everyone learned so much. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, which we know you will because you're always positive anyway. Hi. So you guys, I'm at my sister's house. A little family time. This is my sister, my twin sister, and this is my adorable daughter, Zara. Can you say hi?
Hi. Hi. I'm wondering if people realize that you have a twin because they're like, wait a second, what is this black magic?
Yeah.
She wants to sit in your lap.
Oh, she can sit in my lap because we're ending the show. Hi, come here. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today, guys. And this is a little fun family time. We have an amazing guest, or two amazing guests next week, Amy Tischler and Caitlin Jenkins. So they own Simply Social, and they are incredible when it comes to this amazing micro influencer community that they've created. So they're going to talk to us about influencers and the fact that it doesn't take someone like a Kim Kardashian that you have to pay millions of dollars to have an influencer. Actual local influencers are a lot better, which many of you know, but the community they've built is incredible. So they're going to be joining us next week for an epic conversation. And a big thank you to Yvonne Hyman for being our show sponsor. A big thank you to Stephanie for being on the show. And then a big shout out just to everyone for joining us. We love you guys so much. And yay! Wave at Stephanie. She's so silly and fun. Yay. And we hope everyone
I
has
love
a
all the
wonderful
comments about like how you just cloned yourself. They're like, "Girl, how did you just do that? What filter?"
I know she's right there. She's hiding
I
behind.
was just in case Sarah was bad.
Yes. She's here just in case she started crying. But yay! Well, thank you guys so much for everyone watching. We love you guys. If you guys need anything from us, you know how to contact us at Agorapulse. But have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, guys.
Say bye-bye.